Good evening there, it's Josh from Racing to Profit Towers. Not a tower, it's a flat in central Liverpool. Very nice though. Quite a nice view at this time of night. Um, what's the time? 25 to 10. The purpose of this short video, and it will be short, is to quickly flick through the Beverley card, mainly for Darren, who is a member, and as I have said to all of you, if you would like me to run through a card, I'm more than happy to do so, and I'm more than happy to do it while recording a short video such as this, where you can see what I see and listen to my interpretation, but also again interpret what you're seeing as well, and maybe do a better job than I do sometimes of picking out the right horses to back. But it is easier for me to speak and to whiz through like this than actually go through and then write loads of notes and then type them up. So I'm going to quickly run through the Beverley card. I do want to get this done in 10-15 minutes max. It's getting late and I could probably do with an early night. I still don't think I've recovered from Friday night, where I had about 4 hours sleep. Not that you like to know my social life, but there's 30 creeps closer. I'm 28 in 10th of August, 10 days time nearly. It takes a lot longer to get over a night out, so I must be slowly getting older. Sadly, I say slowly, the time is flying by. But I'm not here to talk about my social life or aging years. I am here to flick through the Beverley card. And the first thing to say is that the ground is heavy. Pretty heavy, pretty sticky, I think. This is going to take some getting. There's going to be plenty of horses that have never raced on a surface like this. There's going to be a bit of educated guesswork. There are 4 angles that I want to focus on, or kind of 4 things I should say that are prominent in my mind. Yeah, horses that are proven on heavy and soft, trainers that are in form, the pace, front runners particularly, especially at Beverley, and the speed ratings, and trying to combine all those things together. So if we take race 1 here, the first thing I'm going to jump out at me is the fact that Tim Easterby is in form. We know that he has been flying along, especially in recent days, and his profit figures are looking pretty good. He is banging in some decent price winners. All of his horses are worth some respect. This horse has never run on heavy ground in her life, never run on soft, never run on good. I am guessing as to how she will handle it. Poet's voice. I'm not a big punter, or not a punter at all, on terms of sire and liking for certain ground. Sometimes that could be nonsense anyway, because until the actual horse is raced on it, you do not know. You do not know which particular traits they've taken from which parent, etc., or which part of the line. So 6 to 1 in that context may be skinny enough. If she gets through the ground, she might be there. What I do want to do is see who has got proven form on the ground, and we can see there that no horse in this race has raced on heavy ground before. Brilliant. What I can do is change the going here to soft. So this looks at horses that have run on soft and heavy. JJ Quinn's horse there, Willan, or however you say that, has raced on soft, and he has placed on it 1 from 1. And he's placed 2 from 3 in class 5. If I was at the track, 15 to 2, I'd probably have a bet on him. Especially each way, hoping there are not a load of non-runners. The yard could be going in better form, but that price probably just allows a play. And I would say that his placing on going on the soft might stand him in good stead. Those races that he's placed in haven't exactly particularly worked out well, as you can see there at the right-hand side. There's a valid excuse for that last run, I think, provided the yard haven't just gone stone cold within a matter of a couple of weeks. The good to firm may be an excuse, the track may be an excuse, or he was just simply outclassed, or a mixture of all those things. He drops back here from a class 2 handicap into a class 5. He's got a handicap mark now, so I'm not quite sure why they're not putting him into a handicap, or what they are trying to achieve. Maybe they want to try and get a win on the board, I'm not sure. But he's interesting. There's nothing else here. Kevin Ryan has a first-time start. You can see there with first-time 2-year-olds, he is 8 from 106, 28 places. They perform below market expectations and below just chance, and the impact value there. Let me just have a bit of water, hold on. What else? Anything else jump out at me? So Mark Prescott, runners having their second career start, a 3 from 68, 10 places. Oh, that would be good enough. That is a good enough reason for me not to bother at 9 to 2. He could hack up. He could win head in chest. He could go and win a listed race next. I don't really care. That's stat, given I'm predominantly a trainer's stats punter first and foremost, and a trend stats punter. 3 from 68, second start puts me off. I mean, he did win, but it may suggest that he's not actually going to come on for that. And again, ground, a complete unknown. Time for a short rant here. Who bets? Are you tempted to bet on International Man at even money, who won on good to firm, racing on heavy, age 2. He's had 45 days off. The breeding of his parents is Australian and American, suggests fast ground. To me, but as I said, I'm not a big breeding man, but I would think Australian and American bred generally like fast turf and like to hear their hooves rattle. So even money is just silly season. And if you're tempted to bet on at that price, I'd ask you to have a word with yourself. Or indeed make a very strong case of why you think that might be a good price in the comments below. But on how I look at races, and by all means 2-year-old races aren't a particular hobby of mine for diving into, that just seems silly, and he's worth taking on simply on the ground issue. He may love it, but even money's a pretty short price to take that chance. So if I was going racing at 15 to 2, he might be 8 to 1. I'd have a cheeky £5 each way or something on JJ Quinn's horse. I think he would do for me. He's also likely to be up there. He'll break smartly. They might try and make all. They'll certainly track the Tim Easterby horse, no doubt, and he should be in the right place. He might finish tailed off. One of these may love the ground, but that's how I would read that race. So do with that as you please. What else? Selling handicap. Oh my word. Again, you're at the racetrack, you're having some fun, you have a go, don't you? But it's a selling handicap, and in general, you do not want to be playing in these races. Donald McCain's form hits my eye, not so much Heaven Sent, who is a bit of a monkey. I backed her, is it a her or a he? It is a her. I backed her at Cartmel last time out. She was a bonus qualifier for the jump stats, a small money on a big price because she clearly wears headgear for a reason, and who knows, but this is a selling race. That question of is the horse doing something different, well, it comes back from having run over hurdles for quite a time and now suddenly runs in a flat race. Stamina won't be a problem. We can see here maiden, what's the distance, 12 furlongs. Won a maiden for Anne Duffield. I'm trying to look for form in soft or heavy, really. Has finished a quarter length Sedgefield in heavy, stayed on, headed near finish. So who knows, is doing something different at least, which is that reverting to the flat after quite some time. You never know, she might just hate hurdles. Let's just have a look at McCain's form with the jockey. Remember, the way in here is his form. 0 from 4, 0 places. When looking at a stat like that, I then just want to look at what those runners are and the odds and to see if any were actually fancied. 50 to 1, 12, 12, 13 to 2. That isn't the reason why I personally would be put off backing Heaven Sent. Her form might be the reason, but McCain is in form, and like I said, maybe just going back to the flat. Let me just have a look at pace. She likes to be up there. Mulrennan might try and make all here, and he's a more experienced jockey than Mr. Fernandez. His speed rating's not too bad in this context of this race. So Heaven Sent at 12s if I was at the track. Couple of quid on the tote, maybe another one of those confetti £5 notes that get sprayed around when you're at the races, and then you get to race 7, you go, oh, they all add up, and add up to quite a lot. We've all been there, I hope. So that might be interesting on the trainer form and the horse reversing back to the flat. If I look at who has form on heavy, Strike Master is getting on, as we've seen, but he has run on heavy 3 times and placed twice, and he's 2 from 2 at the course. He's 11. His form actually The GG stats and data goes back 5 years. I had a quick look at this race before because it confused me in all honesty, and I stopped the video and went again. Because he doesn't have any heavy ground form within the last 5 years. But that's how long the data goes for in horse race, in GGs. His actual heavy ground form is before 2012, but he's an old boy now and he's getting on. But he does handle conditions. He probably will need the run. As you can see there, his runs in recent years after 60 days or more off the track, he has still been running the next day in general. Beaten many lengths. He's probably regressive. There's probably nothing there, but he's 50 to 1, and those place stats on heavy and the course probably would make me put £2 on him on the tote. I wouldn't expect much, but you can see why I have just said that. Hopefully, this is not a race to go mad in at all. Actually, it's a shocker of a race. The other angle, what's the other way in? Pace. So speed rating, Petrify, you could just say top rated on speed. He has only ever run on heavy ground once. He's kept a decent ground, which makes me think they don't think he will handle it. But you just don't know. That was in a novice hurdle, so he's actually never run on heavy ground on the flat or in a handicap. So you don't know until you try. And it could be that he just gallops this slot and he just stays better and handles the conditions best, because nothing in here is really jumping out. Moon over Rio, he ran well 2 starts ago in a class 5 seller. This is now a class 6 selling handicap. I mean, it's just an awful race. No trainers particularly do well at the track. McCain's only had 1 runner at the track before, and that placed. So, you know, and he is in form. Like I said, I'd be tempted to have a bit on Heaven's Scent. I mean, she might just be tailed off because she's just not in love with racing. But the lack of obstacles may spark her into life, and there might be a change of tactics, who knows. And she's facing Dross, for want of a better phrase. No offense to Connections. Strike Master, nothing on paper, but well, just showed you what I've showed you. Pace, who might be at the front? This one here, yeah, Fernandez might try and lead, but he was held up, so who knows. Heaven Sent normally, she's held up the last day. That might be the reason why she was particularly bad, because she has tended to like to get on with it, and weakened. But yeah, I'd have a couple of quid on Heaven Sent. I'd have a couple of quid on Strike Master just for a laugh. So that's that race. 3:10. Let's rattle on. 12 minutes. Good, that's going to plan, isn't it? Another short video from Josh. Celebration Novice Auction Stakes. None of form on heavy, none have run on it. My goodness, this is awful. Lena's Star has run on soft on heavy. I'm crossing my fingers here that she's placed because I haven't looked at this race or any of the subsequent ones. Nope. Cavallo has placed on class 5, actually the only one. That's probably why it's 6 to 4. Oh, this is awful, isn't it? Tim Easterby's in form. Biddy Brady, first time starters, 5 from 107. He hardly ever has a first time out 2-year-old winner. If he's going to have, or he had one at Haydock the other week, probably just when he was about to start his hot run, actually. Dodds is in form, so you can see why he's 6 to 4 favourite. Who knows if he'll handle this ground? Guessing. We're all guessing. We're guessing with all of these. So maybe this is a race to go to the bar and just to watch or catch up with friends or watch a race from Goodwood. So that would be that. Maybe Easterby's horse, if I was there and you said have a bet on something, he's in form, the horse could be anything, could be useless, market will no doubt guide. I'm not going to spend any more time on that race, sorry. I'm moving on briefly. Let's swiftly move on. What have we got here? We haven't hit one of our qualifiers yet. Yeah, this no. So Dodds is in form, so that's jumping out at me. With what we've said is let's have a look at the ground. So again, loads haven't run heavy. I hope there's not a tranche. I hope for Darren that there isn't a tranche of non-runners here. Because that would make it really quite depressing. Win for Power has placed on heavy. in the class, at the track, at the distance, at this number of runners, and is £2 below his last winning mark. He also has a second biggest speed figure in here, and he is 9-1. Sometimes you can overcomplicate this. I'm very tempted because of heavy ground to say just go with that. Just go win for power. When was his place? Let's have a look. Is it any time recently? Probably not. Soft 58. That's probably ages ago, wasn't it? Let me just have a quick look on the going. 13th of May, 14. And it was at Beverley. Well, there we go. So it was at Beverley, over 5, class 5, heavy, off a mark of 64. He's off 58 here, and he's got a £5 claim. So he's 13. What is he? This is my maths. It is getting late. What have we got? £6 minus the 5, £11. Blimey. So he is £11 different from that run. It was quite a while ago, in fairness, and he is clearly nowhere near as good a horse as he was. Stayed on, so he was going on at the end. He wasn't going backwards. Yeah, if I was at the track, I'd be having a £5 each round win for power. I think generally consistent. He's not as good as he was, is he? At least he gets a £5 claim, and Ben Robinson has been riding quite well and has been riding the odd winner, I believe. I can back that statement up by clicking on this little thing here. Yes. 30 days is 1-4. He's had 11 rides at the track, has yet to hit a place, but given he might not have been riding that many good horses or whatever, I'm not going to get too hung up on that. So win for power would be interesting. Like we said, we've got the pace angle there, and he's drawn low, and he likes to front run or be up there. He'll probably track Bosham and Musharraf. Now he did really well the last day because he benefited from a hell of a pace burn up, and that ground actually was softer than good to soft. I'm sure it was. I'm sure that was pretty choppy. Now he was held up there, but he can race more prominently. So if you're looking for the most likely winner, and as I've said before, if you're at the racetrack backing the odd race where you're looking for actually just backing a winner isn't a bad thing. And many of you are finer judges than I am at the top of the market. So he is interesting. Depends how they ride him, and he is £6 higher. That would be a concern, and he's got £3, £4, £5 more on his back in actual weight, which in this ground might tell. Bosham looks a bit out of form. He'll try and provide some pace. As we said, there's a big question here on the going. Most of these is just an unknown. Musharraf's run on heavy twice, hasn't placed. As I said, win for power has over course and distance. That would do me. Each way bet. Got a low weight as well, which in this ground is no bad thing. And then he has been running well, outpaced halfway. That was at Carlisle. You know, having the heavy ground to slow the opposition down might be no bad thing. It might not be a class 5 animal anymore, and I might be clutching at straws, but again, you can see why I like him, so that will do for that race. Like I said, Foxy Boy comes here in form. He won 3 on the bounce. His final run suggested the handicapper may have caught up with him. Having said that, I'm not quite sure why, because he actually ran off a lower mark last time out than the win before that, because that was an apprentice race, wasn't it? So was the one before. Okay. Anyway, he's now up quite a big hike in the weights and up to 75 back in the normal handicap. So 11-2, that might do for him. So that would be that, I think. Yeah, I think so. Hold on, just going to pause. Alright, sorry, I'm back. I was just checking when I see an O'Meara runner at Beverley, and he wasn't on my trainer track profiles qualify list. I was wondering if I'd missed him, but no, he definitely doesn't qualify. Excuse me. Right, that's that race done. I'm moving on swiftly. What have we got here? Memorial handicap, 3-year-olds and older. 2 trainers in form. Off Art and Johnson, Valley of the Rocks. 5 to 1, 10 to 1, not a bad starting point. We've got El Cap here, Stouty Shorty. This might be a runner, a race in which to leave, who knows. You can see questions for everyone. Where are my eyes drawn? Number 1, Bahama Moon, because he has won on heavy, and he's run in Class 4, and he's on his last winning handicap mark. And nothing else has run on heavy or placed on it as yet. So again, you've got a short price favourite running on heavy. He might just outclass these. He is unexposed, but that was a maiden. Having gone into a handicap, I wouldn't think he's of great quality, and I wouldn't think he would be in the Michael Stout yard for much longer. So Bahama Moon has form on soft at least. And he is doing something different. He is dropping a furlong and a half. He doesn't look in great form though, does he? Let's be honest. And while he has form on heavy, is that the surface that he prefers, or has he got form on other ground? Oh no, actually, yeah, he does like a good bog, doesn't he? Yeah, his win there is on heavy. His win there is over 10 furlongs. The stiff Pontefract on soft. So he's going to stay. It's just whether or not he's actually in form. He's 13 to 2. Baron, is he in form? He's not out of form. I mean, they're not flying in. 3 from 28, 9 places. I don't know what else to say other than that, really. A lot of these have questions to answer. If we do soft, again, so actually horses form on soft and heavy, everything else has it to prove. Everything has it to prove. Off Art has placed on soft to heavy. He's 19 pounds below his last winning mark, and the yard is in form. So maybe, and he's had 73 days off. I wonder if they're buggered about with something. Got Tim Easterby. I mean, that's not a great stat, is it? 214 runners that have had 60 or more days off the track in the last 2 years, that have previously had a run. Only 9 have won. 4.2%. Blimey, that is bad. Let's just see how many of those are at this track. 60 days, Beverley, course. 1 from 48. Okay, not great. So yeah, I'd be Bahama Moon, I think, for some change. The rest have ground questions. I'm just guessing. I'm guessing if they're going to handle it. Simple as that. Maybe a tickle on Off Art. You'll probably need the run, but Easterby is in form. Strange things can happen when horses and yards are in form. Next, we're into a race that we have qualifiers in. Popsy's Joy and Fidelma Moon. Let's have a look. Anything with form on heavy. Geordie George, he has the only one with winning form on heavy, 7 furlongs. Now, if I click that place, ignoring the going, there's a lot of amber there. It suggests a lot of horses have run well and placed in race conditions. It suggests, therefore, that the race is quite competitive. It suggests, therefore, that it isn't a race to go mad in. Now, if I look at this form on soft to heavy, Geordie George is looking good again there. That's what we want, don't we? Fidelma Moon, qualifier for the trainer track profiles, micro runs. Tim Easterby's in form. Soft to heavy with a win at the course, win at the distance, 13 pounds below her last mark. She is probably, is it this? She, hold on. Let me just pause a sec. Sorry, I paused that. Hopefully you can hear me. That's because I am useless sometimes at detailing qualifiers for you members. Fidelma Moon is not a qualifier because she is not trained by Tim Easterby. And I know what I've done there. Clearly, maybe I was feeling sleepy or distracted. I've either got Relight My Fire and Fidelma Moon confused, but the Tim Easterby angle is his runners here that have had 5 or 6 runners that season, and Relight My Fire is 1, 2, 3, 4, so he doesn't qualify. Popsy's Joy does, but Fidelma Moon, in any case, on those certain things look interesting. Runs for a new trainer here, so that's a change, not necessarily a positive. 7 runners, none have placed, none have won, none have placed. Does like conditions, but there's questions there. But 25 to 1, and you have seen the uh, place on soft to heavy. There you go. And Geordie George is the other one we want to have a look at. Well, I want to have a look at. Again, Menzies is in form, as you can see there. What are we? 7 furlongs here. Oh, that's fine. Okay, I was just wanting to check that he actually stays. Well, he's 1/8. So it might be outpaced, but his stamina and liking for a good slog, and his maiden was one on heavy. And he didn't win again until he was raced on soft and stuff. But Menzies might have found the key. He might not have stayed that trip. He might have stayed that because it was a small field and it was slowly run, for example. But anyway, drops back to 7.5. You can always forgive a horse a bad run. Cheek pieces, come on. So doing something different, that might help him focus. Based on that form of that run before, in a class 5 of £1 lower, you'd have thought 14 to 1 looks a bit big there. So Geordie George, low drawn as well, might be interesting as a small each way tickle. Reinforced, he might be a non-runner, I'm not sure. Interesting if he's not, because I liked him at, well, it was today, wasn't it? So interesting he turns up here, because I think that ground wasn't soft enough. I was thinking it might be softer, but he likes a good slog. So if he runs here, I mean, he wasn't bashed about. He didn't exactly have a hard race. He went backwards pretty quick, but I wouldn't necessarily be put off him. And Dodds, horses returning within 7 days. They've done all right, as you can see there. Mainly because that's recency bias, and I'm probably going to try and get losers back. But he's also top 2 of the speed ratings, and those top 2 are way ahead of the rest. So Reinforced might be interesting, and so does Geordie George, probably the 2 that look most interesting to me. Fieldelma Moon, not so much. The market will probably guide, but 25s, who knows? There is a qualifier in Popsy's Joy here. I'm not 100% sure why she should snap into form. Let me have a look. 1 from 21. That was on Good to Firm. There is a real question. Only run on heavy once, but you'd have concerns, wouldn't you? So maybe we'll have a closer look at that. Handicap mark is dropping 58. Only a few runs ago in the 70 there, the back end of last season. So it's got the form to figure. Doesn't win very often and probably won't like the ground. Other than that, plenty going for famous last words. So yeah, that's that. He is in form. So 4 of potential interest, Reinforced, Geordie George, those 2 would look most interesting to me. He'll probably be a non-runner. So Geordie George each way. Popsy's Joy is a qualifier for a trainer who's in form and a big price. Plenty of questions, but most of these have questions, don't they? One last look at this for you to take notes if you want, in terms of suitability for conditions. And pace, are there any front runners? Oh yeah, El Principe. Reinforced likes to lead. I mean, he'll get out, so he'll either lead or he'll be tracking. Depends if he can break on terms. Relight My Fire likes to be up there as well. But that will do for that race, because I know I'm taking 28 minutes, and that was meant to be 10, then it was meant to be 15. Memorial Handicap Lady Amateur Riders. Wonderful. Yep, let's take a loan out and wade in on something. Betting on apprentice races, Lady Amateur Riders, but any race without professionals and inexperienced riders is obviously asking for trouble. But there can be good ways in. So let's have a look at form on the ground. None have winning form on heavy. 2 have place form, Polar Forest, Cadmium. I'd like ideally there to be more than 1. If you'd like a horse to have proven that it's done something at least more than once. These ones haven't, and you don't know if that's just a freak or whatever. But Polar Forest definitely is a soft to heavy ground lover, it would appear. 9 from 15. So only out of the frame 4 times, £20 below his last win. Rubis, solid form. Let's have a look at winning form. Yeah, Rubis looks okay. Cadmium, but there's a distance question. Let's have a look at pace. Is anyone going to get an easy lead? No, it could be falsely run. Falsely run races lead to funny, strange results. Will they try and make all on the 40-1 rag? Probably, but it might go backwards at some point. I mean, these ways you're kind of looking at the jockeys maybe. Any jockeys in form? Abby McCain's shown herself to be pretty good actually. 2 from 8 last 30 days. Again, Tim Easterby, 4 Wishes is a stats qualifier. I am struggling in this race. Does he have any form on Good to Firm again? Brilliant. Questionable. Well, it's an unknown actually, isn't it? It hasn't run on heavy, so I'm doing a disservice because you might be fine. That's the question. So you've got horses that have definitely proven they don't handle soft and heavy, and horses that haven't actually tried it, and you just don't know until you try. Not to sound like a broken record. So that's a TTB qualifier. You know, you may not want to stray away from him too much. First start handicap for Tim Easterby has winners but not prolific. Maybe just sticking with the trainers in form. John Caesar. Again, I don't know if he really likes the ground. Let's have a look. Oh, he's 0 from 24 on the flat turf. That doesn't inspire confidence, does it? It's just a dire race, isn't it? Go to the bar, back 4 Wishes for change, fingers crossed, hope for the best. What else? Nothing there. Let me just remind myself. Soft, heavy. Polar Forest might be interesting, just because there's a lot of green there and the ground is clearly fine for him, as it is for Cadmium. But I don't know about the trip. What's the trip? 10 furlongs. See, he looks like an 8 furlong horse. 8 furlongs, 8 furlongs, 8 furlongs. So there is a stamina question there. Nah, that'll put me off. So Polar Forest, because of the ground, is he doing much different? Not really, but he hasn't raced on heavy for a while, and he's dropping in class at least, so doing something different from class 5. Press Leader, drawn low, might be up there. Every chance 2 furlongs out, weakened over 1 furlong out. So here you've got 8, 9, 10 furlongs. Beverley does have a bit of a climb. It's not quite as stiff as Carlisle, but it's stiff enough. But might be interesting at a price. Heavy ground at class 3 there. So we know the ground's fine. So I'd probably do Polar Forest because of that liking for the going. So yeah, Polar Forest. 4 Wishes because of the stats qualifier, though, 5-1. For a horse that isn't proven on the ground, even though it's an unknown, 5 feels short to me personally. So I'd probably be looking at Polar Forest each way in that one. And we move, finally, swiftly. Oh, we finished the card with 2 Lady Amateur Riders races. Darren, aren't you a lucky boy? Get to the bar again. I hope the beer's good at Beverley. I've never been. I'll have to go at some point. Let's have a look. Trainers in form. Oh, there's 2 horses here that are short price. 15-8, 15-2. It's a Lady Amateurs race. I don't think I'd want to be taking that. Heavy ground form. Let's have a look. Jacqueline Star is a heavy ground winner. Placed twice. Is 6th ground. The favourite there has form. Port Liege has placed once. So Jacqueline Star's interesting at least. Let's have a look at soft to heavy. Okay, you can see why Indian Chief's probably up there. £5 below his last winning mark. He's top of the handicap. Is he dropping in class? Yes, he is. Yeah, 4s and 5s, and been running okay actually. Okay, I can. Trainers in form. Top speed rating as well by quite a distance. Decent lady jockey on board, or decent jockey, I should say. 4 from 14, 6 places the last 14 days. I can see why he is favourite based on that. 15-2 short though, isn't it? But if you might want a winner by this point, so chuck a 5 at the favourite in the last, and we can all go home happy. What else? Jacqueline Star won last time out. That was a class 6. Rallied to lead last strides. Went to post early. He's clearly tricky. Wears an eye shield. I mean, I wouldn't trust much in this race. but at least he's in form, and that can count for a lot at this level. So Mr. Barr, he's been racing on good to firm, graceful act. Tina Jackson's in form as well. King of the Celts is a qualifier, isn't he? Yeah, 7-1. Trainer in form. Does he suit conditions? King of the Celts. Where is he? There. Never raced on heavy. What about soft? So King of the Celts is 0 from 5 on soft and heavy in terms of win and never placed. So that's a concern. I'd have to have a closer look, but again, 7-1 in that context is feeling a bit short for me personally. But that is a subjective view. So I can see why Indian Chief's the price he is. Sacklin Star is at least in form. I don't know if he's ever won back-to-back. And the trainer, my goodness me, Richard Guest, he's had last 2 years, he had 59 horses that won last time out, and only 4 have been able to follow up. That's pretty poor. So maybe I'm talking myself now back out of him at 6-1. So that's that. There are those thoughts. It's 10:15. I'm pretty tired. That is quite a poor card, but hopefully you've picked out a few bits and pieces there. And if Darren's the only one that's watched this video, then if we found a few winners, that's job done. But hopefully you found that of some interest and you might find something there. I am going to leave it there and say bye for now. I'll probably try and pull some of those thoughts down into a list of horses below the video. But anyway, yeah, I will leave that there. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll be back at some point. Maybe I'll have a look at Galway. Maybe I'll have a look at Goodwood. I quite like recording these videos. I hope some of you like watching them. Until the next time, this is Josh saying good evening for now. Bye.